There's only ever one Valkyrie. It's so rare and so insane. And he bought it because Ron has this sort of taste. The bedazzles are not his taste. That's my taste. I wanted to do that to his car because I think it's funny.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into the rhinestones. But Ron has a really unique taste where he likes to have the really one-off stuff. He had a 1 of 5 gated Murcielago SV for the whole world unicorn car. He's had P1 HDK, Pagani Huayra. He really likes to have the stuff that kind of no one else can get their hands on. And so the Valkyrie is kind of the epitome of that. And all at the same time, not only being one that people can't get their hands on, it just happens to be the most insane performance car of all time, because Aston Martin essentially designed this with Adrian Newey to make it an F1 car for the road that just happens to be street legal.
Yeah, which you can see in the aerodynamics.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the craziest thing. It's funny, we've done a video, but you can basically crawl all the way underneath the car because you can see all the way to the front. So you could probably fit 2 bodies under there if you wanted, or 4 children. What?
Yeah.
But yeah, everything you see from the aero underneath. I spoke with the lead designer at Aston Martin, which he actually did not hate the bedazzles. For everybody that thinks that they would hate it, Aston Martin fully welcomed us with open arms and they loved it. But I spoke with him. He was the designer that actually worked with Adrian Newey to make the car. And it was really fascinating because he said that Adrian essentially designed the entire underbody of the car to make it perform obviously like an F1 car. And then he designed the upper side of the car. And Adrian, when he was designing the car, he said, I don't care if it looks like an Aston Martin. But Aston Martin said, whoa, hey, obviously it's important that it has the Aston Martin DNA in it, because that's everything about who they are. Every Aston Martin looks like an Aston Martin. It's like undeniably Aston Martin. And so he asked Adrian, he said, hey, what's your favorite car of all time as far as looks go? And he said, probably the DB4, which I think we can all agree is one of the best looking cars of all time. And he said, well, why do you like it? And he says, well, it's because it looks like an Aston Martin. So they worked very hard, not only make it perform like an F1 car, but also look like an Aston Martin, which you can tell, like you look at the front of the car and you're like, yep, like undeniably that's an Aston Martin. So the car not only looks amazing, but also performs amazing. You can tell from everything here. What's cooler though is if we go up front, this is where the aero gets insane. This is where all the aero goes through and then to the side, the same side skirts that you even see on an F1 car, just without the rhinestones. And then here you can see through the bodywork into the suspension, which is also exposed. Here on the top, you can see through just like an F1 car, and then into the wheel as well. So the fact that you can see this thing just driving on like the freeway in America or anywhere that they have them, is just so ridiculous. Just the fact that they made this is my favorite thing about some of these companies. Like I think about Lamborghini, they made the Storado. Like they didn't need to do that. Aston Martin like had no reason to make this a thing, but they did, you know? So that's one of my favorite parts about it, is they are so ultra rare and so ultra high performing. And it kind of beats out, like you park this thing next to a Chiron or a Devo or a Huayra or a 918 and it kind of makes it look like normal traffic.
Yeah.
Because it's so absurd looking and it's like so tiny and unique. It's so high, and the thing is it'll kind of blow performance out of the water too.